Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this week, in lieu of the Not So Serious Keto video podcast, I bring you part 2 of my interview with Chef Scott Guerin of Modernist Pantry. This segment of our interview really focuses on keto, as well as a lot of the challenges in creating keto recipes and creating keto videos, including challenges with ingredients that we refuse to use, or dealing with the ingredient police or keto police, as well as trying to capture the texture and taste and baking properties of certain ingredients that we can't use, like flour or sugar. Then we start to dabble a little bit into molecular gastronomy and how certain ingredients from Modernist Pantry or wherever you want to buy them can help us get some of those tastes and textures and properties in our keto recipes. So let's hop back into the interview.
What ingredients do you find that either you love or you almost feel like you overuse them? Because that's something that I find is like I feel like I overuse ingredients just because I like them. Is there one that you find that you almost overuse or you just love to use?
Cheese. Yeah. I'm a Wisconsinite, so anytime I can figure out how to incorporate dairy into a recipe, I'm generally doing it. And I think there's probably a larger category of things that I don't use either, and not just because they're not keto, but because there's things I won't use personally because, I think they're not good ingredients. I think a lot of the highly processed oils are, I find them very inflammatory. I feel it in my joints. If I have soybean oil or cottonseed oil or vegetable oil, any of the canola, those sort of things, they don't treat me well. So I personally choose not to use those. But then there's a whole slew of ingredients that I won't use in a video. I'll use them personally, but I won't use them in a video because I don't want to deal with the ingredient police and the keto police. There's no shortage of people on any video that I do that are lining up to tell me what a horrible ingredient such and such is. Soy. I guarantee you when you mentioned soy and carrageenan earlier, there are some folks banging away on their keyboard talking about how soy is pre-estrogenic and how carrageenan is used in lab experiments to cause inflammation in rats and things like that. I get that all the time. So, things like vital wheat gluten. It's a protein. It's not a carb. Yet, by me just saying that right now, I'm unleashing a firestorm.
Oh, I understand. I completely understand.
Evercrisp. I mentioned Evercrisp in a video, and I'm like, it's fiber, okay? It's like 100% or it's almost pure fiber. Yet it's got the word wheat in it, and it's got the word dextrin in it, and people, their heads explode. Yeah. So it's...
I use it in my pizza crust, so I can't wait. It's gonna be
outstanding. Do you use any vital wheat gluten?
I didn't. I made sure not to do that. But it can be easily replaced. Just take it out.
So do you find that in the comment section on your videos, you get people, telling you that, this is frankenfood and overprocessed science experiment, you're bastardizing food?
Steve, I'm going to tell you. I just don't read the comments. Someone else reads the comments, and they send me the questions that are appropriate. I would love.
I need to hire that person.
Yeah, Janie, that's who it is. So thankfully we have a pretty good audience that are there just for us and our ingredients and things like that. So that it's pretty nice. But every once in a while we get a little bit of a firestorm. But we do our best to explain what we're doing and why we're doing it and why we have these ingredients. And, we love the ingredients that we have. So we have to stick to our guns, we sell them. So, there's always going to be someone who's upset with us, but I'm a chef and it's not anything that's new to me. So, it's not something that we worry about too much because the overwhelming, positive response is always something to look at and makes us feel better about it in the long run there. But yeah, I'm sure you deal with it quite a bit, and of course we've done full videos on carrageenan, so yeah, we're in the same boat there.
So, I mean, on a keto channel, you get it not just from the ingredient police, but you get it from the people who are a stricter version of keto than you. You get it from vegans who just want to come and pick a fight. I don't know why. If they're happy eating what they're eating, I'm happy for them. But then you'll get the people that are indoctrinated into the standard American diet and think that keto is just a recipe for heart disease and we're killing ourselves and that we're poisoning the minds of the youth.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always going to be those people. Thankfully, like I said, I don't read the comments. I get the good ones and the questions, and that makes me happy just because I have a lot going on with this, and I don't really need that stress in my life. But yeah, I mean, you go to the comment section on any YouTube video, you're going to find someone who hates someone for something, regardless if it's good or bad, depending on what you think. But yeah, thankfully not as bad. And I mean, we have a substantially smaller channel than you do, so I'm sure it'll only go up from here, So kind of back to the food, I was thinking, what's one thing that you have tried that you just can't perfect, right? You tried all your tricks, because I have one that I've tried, and I just can't get vegan macarons down not using aquafaba, which I don't know if anyone knows what aquafaba is.
So in fact, I did a video for a chaffle for people who have egg allergies.
Oh.
And I used aquafaba.
Did that work? That worked?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Really? That's awesome. Yeah.
So I mean, now then, for the keto folks are like, well, what do I do with this can of chickpeas now? Now that I've drained it. Fortunately, hummus isn't super duper high in carbs if you pace yourselves. But and yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted. You were finishing your story on the macarons.
No, that was great. So yeah, it's I can't get macarons down. So I can get the shell on top, and then I can't get the center right, and sometimes they completely just come out completely wrong. And I tried so hard for so long trying to get this one recipe down. Is there something that you've wanted to make a video of? Because the way we do it, we're on a deadline, or I put myself on a deadline, is I have 4 weeks to come up with 4 episodes, right? Mm-hmm. And after that 4 weeks, I got to keep going because we have to have a new episode every single week. Some weeks some months we do 5, but yeah, it's okay, if I can't get this one, we got a backup, and it can be really difficult.
Oh yeah, to me, if I on any given week by Tuesday don't have Friday's cooking video done, so my schedule, we're kind of going away from your original question, we'll loop back.
That's fine.
But my schedule is Mondays I do my video podcast or vlog or whatever you want to call it. And, it's sort of keto themed. It's a lot of just, me interacting with the community. Then Wednesdays generally is a product review. And, I catch some heat from keto folks for this because they're like, prepackaged stuff, that's not really keto. But my attitude is there are a lot of people that this is a keto lifesaver for. There's truck drivers and people that are just busy all the time. They don't have time to spend hours and hours in the kitchen, so having this pre-packaged keto bar or whatever helps them out. So I do that. Plus, it's the easiest videos to shoot. I do it, one take, and I can edit them. It goes very fast. Then Fridays is the recipes or some sort of kitchen science or kitchen hack thing. And if I hit Tuesday and haven't recorded Friday's video, I'm starting to have a meltdown. And usually if I can't pull something off, it's time to do a giveaway. I'm like, I'm going to give away $250 worth of stuff from my pantry. Who wants to win? That's my backup. But going back to your question, which now I forgot. The recipe, the elusive recipe. There are a couple. It's sort of a running joke on my channel, the hot dog bun. The keto hot dog bun. It's just very hard to get that texture. Now, there are some people, there's a woman by the name of Maria Emmerich who created this protein-sparing modified fast bread. It's basically like cloud bread. It's a lot of whipping up egg whites. And it to me that it reminded me a little too much of angel food cake, honestly. A little too springy, foamy, and a number of people have iterated on it and have gotten closer and closer to a white bread. And I'm willing to let them just keep working on that and at some point say, okay, I'm taking so-and-so's recipe and I'm putting it into these hot dog molds, and there we go, or hot bun molds. Another thing I would love to do, we talked about hollandaise earlier, is a keto English muffin that's legit. Most people, when they have a video for keto English muffin, they're throwing some ingredients into a ramekin and putting it in the microwave, and the taste and texture is nothing like an English muffin. I mean, that the holes, the big nooks and crannies, and that slightly sourdough
taste. A good English
taste.
muffin has like a very glutinous chew to it. Yeah, that's a difficult task right there.
And then the current recipe that I'm at 95% on is it's an all-purpose batter that I have created tortilla chips out of. I am very close on a lasagna noodle.
Okay.
And also then, I've also cut it into smaller squares and then like wrapped it around mozzarella sticks and covered it with enchilada sauce and made cheese enchiladas. Oh. And it utilizes Mooglu RM. And I'll probably have to loop back with you after this and share the recipe with you, because I think the chips are pretty much there. All I got to do is add a little seasoning, maybe a little corn extract or something. The lasagna noodles, very, essentially the same recipe, but I can't quite get the chew that I'm looking for out of it. And I don't want to have to resort to something like Vital Wheat gluten to get there. But so those,
no, I understand that.
Really the bane of the existence of most keto chefs or cooks, I guess, because I don't own a commercial kitchen, so I guess I'm just a cook. But the big things are anything that uses all-purpose flour generally, or better than all-purpose flour. I mean, to get that pizza crust that feels like you're using, double-aught Antimo Caputo flour, that would be amazing.
Yes. Even mine is I spread it into a circle and then I pipe the crust on, par bake, add toppings, bake, at a higher temp, and then you get a nice looking crust. I may be able to find a picture to show on camera here, but yeah, it's very difficult. I did try in my testing just a few times, because if I get to a certain point, I got to double back and figure something out. So I tried in a way to find a dough that I could work like a pizza dough. And with gluten-free baking, I was able to find, using Mooglu, obviously gluten-free is very different than keto, but I was able to get it so I can work, I can roll the pizza dough, I can even lift it up and not have it disintegrate like most gluten-free things. So that was like an epiphany. I made bagels that I could put a hole in, and I could boil them, and then I could bake them. But I tried doing the same thing with keto, and I was like, this is just very thick batter. Like, I can't even put my hands on this stuff without it, just no matter what. I was even patting my hands dry with sodium caseinate, trying to be able to touch this. It was absorbing, and it was just very difficult to roll out in the way I wanted it to, almost like a stretch back and things like that. Do you work with a lot of methicellulose?
I have not. I'm sure I've got it in my pantry.
Yeah, so methicellulose is something that I would suggest working more and more with. So here's actually a picture of my pizza crust, if that shows up well.
Okay. That shows up pretty well, yeah.
Yeah. I can send it to you as well, so maybe if we can edit it in here. But yeah, the pizza crust came out really nice. Methicellulose is an ingredient, and actually I think you've used it because you use the I'm Free Perfect Gluten Replacement, right? So
yes.
That's a type.
Although I don't know that I've used it in a video. I have played around with it.
In one of the chaffles.
Did I?
Just
okay.
As like a test, yeah.
All right.
So that has been used, and that is methicellulose. And methicellulose has like an extremely specific function. is where as it heats, it turns into a gel, and as it cools, it reverts back to a liquid. So as like the bread heats, right, it'll set that gel texture, and then as it cools, all the fibers or whatever's in here making the structure will then be set. So it's a really great thing, but it can be used for everything. All of my plant-based meat products I've made are packed full of methylcellulose, different types, because every single one, and there's hundreds of them, do something different. So, or just gel slightly different at different temperatures, different viscosities, on and on. So that might be something to look into, especially if you're able to, you want to roll it out, or you just are looking for a little bit more of that chew, right? That's going to help you out a lot.
Okay. Well, when we get done with this, I'll send you the recipe as it exists in its current state.
Yeah, I'd love to see it help out wherever I can.
I'm trying to keep it right on the edge of carnivore.
Okay.
It's so going in the very much opposite direction of your vegan products.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a noodle that's carnivore.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I want to say about it, just because I don't want anyone trying to reverse engineer it before I release the video.
No, that's fine. But yeah, there may be a type that'll give you a bit more chew, right? And it's going to be used at such a small amount that, it's just plant fiber. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people that are initially, or they just want to dip their toe into molecular gastronomy or modernist cuisine, what would be the first couple of ingredients that you would recommend people try out?
This is difficult. So there's kind of like a few what I call like gateway drugs, right? It's like, what are these two ingredients that people all know, and that's where people are going to start. And there's one gelling and one thickener, and it's agar and xanthan gum. Those are like the two most commonly known, kind of modern ingredients. We say modern, but agar's been used in Asian cuisine for thousands of years. But those are the two, just because you can put them in anything and they work. Now, when we start to get into the different textures, I would definitely suggest, even if you're not vegan, a vegan gelatin, which is carrageenan. I know. Light me up in the comments section. I'm sorry. And for thickener, 210S. Or even tarragon, just awesome. Tarragon has like the cleanest mouthfeel that you could possibly want from anything. It's just wonderful stuff.
I actually used it the other night to thicken up some pan drippings from a chuck roast.
Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about doing that as well. I don't commonly do it just because there's other thickeners like Ultra Spurse that will work, great for what I'm doing, but you can't use that.
Yeah, because that's like tapioca starch, right?
Yeah, those are starch-based thickeners. Actually, this brings me right. I'm going to ask a question right after this. But even with the tarragon, even if I were to make a very light, just hydrated gum out of it, you basically just take water and add tarragon until you have it. You may be able to get like a little scoopable, put the tarragon mixture in and mix it around, and then boom, you have this perfectly thickened sauce, almost like a slurry.
Sure.
Or but it's tarragon and water, or tarragon and whatever it is that you wanted to add to it. But is there an ingredient that you would love to use, but you cannot because of the keto diet? Do you say keto diet or lifestyle?
I prefer lifestyle, honestly, because
I just wasn't sure.
To me, I look at a diet as something you do short term. You do it until you lose weight, and that's how a lot of people get into keto, unless it's to control diabetes. Those are sort of the two big entry points. Are either, okay, my A1C is off the charts, I need to get my diabetes under control, or I want to lose weight. But the people that come in from the weight loss aspect, which is where I came in, 75 pounds ago, you start to realize all of the other benefits that come with being fat adapted. Your concentration, your focus, the lack of inflammation. Like, a lot of people don't know what inflammation is until it goes away. Yeah. Arthritis, tendinitis, things like that. Your skin looks better. You feel great. But I'm starting to sound like a zealot here. The problem is with keto, there are a handful of ingredients that exist in the non-keto world that are perfectly multifunctional. And those three are flour, sugar, and probably cornstarch. You know, if you've got those, you can make about anything. But unfortunately, in a keto world, each of those you need 3 or 4 different items in your pantry to substitute for that, depending on the application. Sugar, for example, all of the non-traditional sweeteners. You use something like allulose. That works great if you're caramelizing something, but it browns at such a low temperature and it doesn't crisp, so you can't use it in a cookie.
Exactly.
If you want something that's going to crisp, you got to pretty much use erythritol. There's no one-stop shop for sweeteners and thickeners, and there's the person that develops a true one-to-one substitute for all-purpose flour is going to be rich beyond their wildest dreams. in the keto world.
Yeah, it's so difficult though. It was like that. There's so much going on in flour, is probably why it was used so widely. But yeah, it's the gluten, it's the correct starch, but it's also the nostalgia that so many people have for it. That really makes it so hard to replicate.
Well, you look at things like bread making. I used to do a lot of bread baking, and one of my favorite books was Flour, Water, Salt, Yeast.
Yep.
I mean, it's literally, that's your recipe for bread. How simple does it get? Yet in a keto world, you need triple those ingredients, and you're still not getting something that tastes like an artisan boule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, even in the gluten-free world too, I have the Modernist Bread book, which is completely I don't suggest it for you, but it's a wonderful thing, and they have really great gluten-free recipes in there. But it's just like, these are good, but it's just not the same. We have so many people that we have test here too. Like if I make a recipe, I'll bring in the people who are out in the factory working or the warehouse, and then they're like, oh, this is good. It's just there's something. There's just something in you that tells you that's not. Even my keto pizza, the crust is delicious because it has pork rinds, cheese, and eggs in it. So they're not getting that off flavor from it, but there's something, right? There's something different here. It's like, yes, it's all different. But
well, and one of the things that I say is I want to get to the point where when you're saying something a keto thing tastes good, a keto bread, a keto pizza crust, a keto English muffin, that you don't need to put that keto qualifier in front of it. That you can say, like, this is a good pizza crust, not this is a good keto pizza crust. Because that almost immediately it forces everybody to lower the bar just a little bit in their expectations.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. You're 100% correct. And that's what, I mean, we're along the lines of that. We are testing a lot of vegan things and you're testing a lot of keto things. Big ends of the spectrum there. But yeah, it's, okay, is this a good burger? Does this, would you eat this and go, this is a good burger? And I think we're at that point with that. Our sausage is very good. It's, certain things are very like, okay, you can tell this is different. And we don't want that for everything, but it's so wildly difficult to find that, with any different, recipe, whether it's keto, gluten-free, or plant-based, everything. It's so hard to just make it right, And I guess that we're in the same boat, just going for it.
Yeah, we're in the same boat, just different. One's port, the other's starboard.
Exactly.
So that's it for part 2 of this interview with Chef Scott. We'll be back in 2 weeks to do part 3, kind of wrapping it all together, talking about the science of cooking and really starting to get into the nitty-gritty of molecular gastronomy. So if you're into food science, I think you're really going to enjoy that. Next week, I will be back with the Not So Serious Keto video podcast, episode 100. Quite the milestone there. I feel like I got to do something special, but I'm not sure what that something is going to be. If you've got any ideas, any suggestions for topics, let me know down in the description below. Thanks for watching.